All right, I am here again with Sarah Perrin. Sarah, thanks for joining me today as we get into a fun topic about communication with clients and all about email and text message marketing. A lot of us have, heard about these strategies, and all of us, I'm sure, receive either email and or text messages from different businesses that we are connected to. So the question today is, how can we encourage salons to be using this strategy a little bit more effectively for them? That's what we're going to delve into. And Sarah, maybe you can start. I mean, you're a salon owner yourself. Just share with us sort of, why this is an important thing for a salon to be considering.
For sure. So I feel like, especially since like the pandemic started up and everything like that, customers are starting to expect different digital initiatives from the different companies that they frequent. So this is the same for salons. Like, I'm sure you've noticed a huge difference since COVID hit. Like, you're getting texts from everybody, you're getting emails from everybody. So I feel like it's just a different way of communication that, companies can communicate with their customers. So not only now is it like important to have it as a part of your digital marketing strategy, but customers are actually expecting that extra level of digital communication. Nowadays emails are worth their weight in gold. It's not just enough to market to people simply on social media, which I think salons in particular really jump full board onto, is just with social media, which is awesome. It's a super important part of digital marketing, but not your entire client base isn't going to be on social media. So it's also important to be able to communicate with those who don't have Instagram, don't have Facebook, and aren't going to see the promotional things that you have going on. So it's just a really important means of communication with your client base now.
Yeah, and I mean, as you said, even people who are on Facebook and Instagram, the percentage that actually see your posts are very, very small, right? Yes. So, you would need, number one, for every single one of your clients to be following you. And then you would need, them to be super, super engaged and active on those platforms to see your content. It's just not the reality. Actually, statistically, I think right now it's about 5% of your Facebook or Instagram followers are going to see any given post that you make. So
for sure. Yeah.
It's just not effective at getting your message out there. So, to your point, having that contact information now is an actual currency, right? The email address or the phone number, so that you can, directly send messages to them between their visits. It's such an amazing way to kind of stay connected and engaged with your client between visits.
Yes, absolutely. And the amount of times that we've had guests come into the salon that had no idea that a certain promo was going on, even though we blasted it on social media. Like, to your point, it's good to be able to have that direct line of communication where you can get a very specific message to very specific groups of people. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's sort of break it down a little bit. As a salon owner, Sarah, what is, an easy way to start collecting email addresses or phone numbers of your clients if you don't already have them?
For sure. So, like, depending on your point of sale system, so at my salon, we use Mevo. So we will gather that information as soon as we input the client information, because it will send them text reminders, it will send them email reminders. So that's a super great way of just getting that information right from the get-go without posing it as like a marketing thing. You're just gathering this information so that you are able to contact them with reminders or appointment changes or anything like that. So in the salon, that should be a super easy way to gather your existing clients' information, is just having that on file for, again, future communication. So in the salon with your existing clients, it should be super easy at the beginning or at the end of the service just to gather the emails and the phone numbers to have them as a part of your system. It's more so newer guests that it becomes a little bit trickier to gather that type of information. But in the salon, it should just be part of your checkout process, is gathering phone numbers and emails to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it comes down to, again, if someone asks, like, why are you taking this information? It's because of some kind of value that you're going to be providing to them. So number one, it's great for an easy way to explain it to a guest is, we're getting this information for appointment reminders, because it's part of our process, part of our, excellent customer service levels, is to contact you with appointment reminders, right? To make sure that you don't miss your appointments and whatnot. And that could be by phone, right? Maybe you do actually call clients, or maybe you are, you have a system that's automatically sending a text or an email. So that's a great way to just that's logical for the client to think, okay, yeah, I guess it makes sense for the salon to have my contact information. You can also, if you're committed to, providing regular education tutorials through newsletters, we're going to talk about that in a second. That's another great reason why they wouldn't want to miss out, on receiving some of this information. So let's jump there, Sarah. Like, what would be some of the, purposes that you would send, or what's some of the content ideas that you would then send out to your guests by text message or email?
So like at my salon, so we're called Chalk Salon. So what I usually do every month for our newsletter, it's called Chalk Talk. And I usually like to break the newsletter down into, I like to have a little bit of educational, I like to have a little bit of promotional, and then, throw in some entertaining, some inspirational, all that good stuff in there too. But it doesn't have to be anything super heavy. I actually really like it as a resource, even for my stylist to be able to use. So they actually can just show their guests, like, here's what's going on this month. You can take a look at this newsletter while you're sitting in the chair, and they can sign up for the email. So if they for some reason aren't signed up for the newsletter, my stylists are actually able to use that newsletter as a resource to talk to their clients and kind of let them know about all the promotions that are going on. But again, it's just like a monthly checkup on, like, this is what we've got going on at the salon. These are the deals we have going on. These are the things you won't want to miss out on. So a pretty standard newsletter. But I do think it's important to include something educational in there too, not just promotional, because people's emails are being constantly flooded with, buy this deal's going on right now. So if you can provide some type of value in terms of, a hot tip or a trick, or maybe a little bit more information on a product line you carry, or whatever it is, if you can take the time to educate them in some way before you sell them, it's going to help build that trust, so that maybe the purchase actually does end up happening instead of, just another email that they throw into trash or whatever. So
yeah, I love that. I think it's so critical. And you mentioned in your emails, you have education content, promotional content, and entertainment content. Right. And I think those three are really critical. You don't necessarily have to have all three of those in every single message that's going out, but you want to make sure that you have a healthy dose of all of that. So that people are actually receiving value. You use that word, and it's just so critical. We cannot repeat it enough. Think about what your clients or your guests would be interested in receiving. A lot of it is going to be, at home care tips, right? For their hair, their skin, their nails, whatever the case may be. And the more that you can sort of provide that, the more interesting it's going to be for them to open that email, read it. And now it's keeping your business top of mind, right? So not just for them, you might think, oh yeah, but they're already clients, they're coming back. But you know what? It keeps them that much more connected to your business. And it also keeps you top of mind, so that they might, think about recommending you to their friends or family more often. So really critical. Let's quickly talk about, because this often comes up now, people want to know, should I be still doing email marketing, or is that done? And now it's all about text message marketing. Can you kind of share with us, Sarah, your thoughts on, the differences between the two, and where they both have merits?
Absolutely. So I feel like they're both beneficial in different ways, but there's definitely pros and cons to both. Like, I think that the issue with email marketing is, I think there's this stigma around it that it's kind of like an old school method of communication. But like, I have found, again, since the pandemic has hit, I'm like, I use my email constantly for everything. So it's definitely not just something that your 87-year-old grandma is keeping up with on email. And like, every email is an important form of communication for everybody. But that, I know, sometimes is an off-putting part about it, is people are like, well, do people even use email anymore? And the answer is yes. So there's definitely a lot of benefits with the email marketing. And then with text message marketing, again, today, almost everybody has a phone, almost everybody texts. So the likelihood of somebody opening a text message versus opening an email, I know this even for myself, like a lot of my promotional emails that I'll get, sometimes you're just hitting, just move straight to trash. Whereas if I get a text message, I'm forced to open that. Whether I actually go to, the next link that it's bringing me to is another story. Which kind of leads me into the next point with texting. You have a very you've got limited characters to get your message across. So you need to make sure that it is, I don't want to say clickbait worthy, but you want to make sure that whatever your message is in the text is actually directing people to the next step where they need to be. So whether that's your online shop or whether that's your online booking, whatever that might be, you just need to make sure that you're clearly portraying that message in a very small window kind of thing. So yeah, there's pros and cons to both. I would say the other thing with texting is typically you need an outside platform to bring in for it, which can cost extra money. Although that is something that you can do on our S.O.S loyalty app. So just a quick shout out for that you can throw in text marketing with that as well. But yeah, there are tons of pros and cons to both. I think it's just a matter of going through and figuring out what your salon needs and what messages you're trying to get across, and then figuring out the best, strategy moving forward with that.
Absolutely. And again, some clients, maybe you're only getting email addresses from certain ones, and some you're getting, phone numbers from others. So it might allow you to, do a little bit of both in order to touch everybody. Email certainly has, longer content. You can put as much as you want. It's free to send emails, but you also have the ability to kind of create nice imagery, colors, which kind of can fit with your branding. So that's certainly an advantage. Whereas text messages, as you were mentioning, are just going to be short text. You got to be really concise and to the point with your message. The advantage, you nailed it on the head, is people open up text messages and read them much more than they do emails. So you just have to figure out for your salon company, is the cost, going to be beneficial for you? Because there will be a cost to send out text messages, and it's shorter, but you will get more people at least opening and reading them. As long as you're not being spammy with your messages, you might be able to create more engagement. So definitely something to sort of test out based on your, based on your audience, based on your clients, and see which one is working best for you.
And I feel like that's a super good point, whether you're going the email marketing route or the text marketing route. Make sure that your messages are not spammy. Don't just be sending out these emails and texts just for the sake of doing it. Definitely this is where the, posting with purpose, doing it with purpose, like make sure that your message has a point. And then again, the likelihood of like people actually opening them is going to continue, because I swear you send one spammy message and people are writing you off for good. So you just want to make sure that there is value included in whatever message that you're trying to get across.
Yeah. A lot of people ask, like, okay, great, I have all these email addresses, but how do I send the email? Do I just, where do I send it from? Do I have to do this, from my own, account, Gmail or whatnot? So there are sort of email marketing platforms out there that exist. Sometimes your actual POS system, that you use in your salon company may have it built in. Some are better than others.
Yeah.
More easy to use, and also just kind of like, visually nice. Some good ones that are just generic in the marketplace that are very popular. MailChimp is a big one that people might have heard of. Constant Contact, Mad Mimi are sort of three examples of sort of general. And you just put in all of your email addresses. You can create different lists even inside of that platform, so that maybe you create sub lists of everybody who does color services with you.
Totally.
Or you could separate it even by gender, so that if you have special promotions, or who knows, you can make a whole bunch of different lists so that you only send certain emails to certain lists. That can be beneficial for you as well. But anyways, something to check out. Lastly, I think to touch upon here today is just, we talked about creating value, not being spammy, having lots of education content, and that was for your existing clients. But there's also a great value that exists to doing email campaigns or text message campaigns if you can get other people who are not currently clients of yours to subscribe to your, your email or your text campaigns. And that obviously would only really, they'd be only interested if you had interesting, valuable content for them, which would probably be much more educational, all those tips that we spoke about. But this could be a really great opportunity to now engage some new potential customers, right? To see your content on a regular basis and now actually make them consider you as a place, to kind of get their beauty needs taken care of. So definitely interesting. Sarah, how would you kind of go about trying to get non-clients to join your mailing lists?
For sure. So this was something I actually became a little bit obsessed with this when I started working for S.O.S, but the whole idea of a sales funnel. So if you can picture like a tornado, like a funnel cloud, what you're wanting to do is that top of the funnel, that's where you're getting new people to come in. So you need to just create awareness at the top of that funnel. How you're going to create awareness for your business is you're going to have some type of hook that pulls people in. So this hook has to be something juicy enough that somebody who has never been to your salon, maybe never heard of it before, is willing to trade you their email address in exchange for something. So we'll kind of go over some really cool ideas for hooks after. So that's usually, quizzes, freebies, guides, whatever it might be. And then, so once you have them in the top of that funnel cloud and they are aware of your company, the next thing is interest. So again, this content that they are getting, whether it be in your newsletter, whether it be, again, like this freebie that I was talking about, it has to be interesting enough that it sparks some type of fire in this person that they actually become interested in visiting your company. It's not quite there yet. They're not ready to dive feet in or anything like that, but they're interested and they're aware of you at this point. So then once you kind of have, the awareness, the interest built up, that's where then trust comes in. So once you've sent out a few of these newsletters that are, chocked full of all of the good information that you want to get out there and you're educating them and everything, they're going to start to trust you. Like there's going to start to, say this salon taught me how to wash my hair properly. Like I'm probably going to be more likely to go visit their stylist now. So it's kind of this perfect storm in this tornado funnel where, again, they're becoming aware of you. You're putting out interesting educational content that they are actually, starting to feel trust with you as a company. And once you have that perfect storm of things happening, that's usually when all of a sudden the money comes in and they book an appointment, they purchase retail from you, whatever it is. So keep in mind this idea of this funnel when you're trying to get in new people. And it's not only just a good way of getting, again, brand awareness out there, but it could actually translate into actual guests visiting your salon if you execute it properly.
Nice. I love that. And let's just talk quickly about the hooks. You mentioned that. So, because obviously, we don't have the person's contact information yet. So I guess we have to hope that they've come across us on social media. And what would be an example of a hook that we might create at a salon company?
So yeah, for salons, I think, again, people are coming because they're curious about your hair, your aesthetic services. So tailoring it to that is going to be the most beneficial. So for quizzes, you could do different quizzes like at our salon, we actually have a hair extension quiz. So if you're curious about hair extensions and which type would be best for you, whether it's, weft extensions, whether it's tape in, whatever, all of the different methods. So they actually give us their email address and they fill out this quiz where then we respond to them with their answers and everything like that. So again, you're giving enough value, whether they actually come to us for that extension service or not. I mean, they've already know that this is what we recommended them. So that trust is already built up and everything. But that quiz is there. And now we have that email address that then we can, again, kind of cycle in through our monthly newsletter. So quizzes are a really good thing. Again, you can make it for anything hair related, aesthetics related, get creative with it, make it more practical, whatever it is that you want to do with that. And then the other kind of cool thing I feel like that salons can incorporate is tutorials. So again, literally somebody could go on and it could be, maybe 3 video tutorial kind of combo that they get, where they learn how to properly do beach waves, and they learn how to use the curling iron properly, whatever it is, something that you think that they would be interested in enough in receiving, that they actually give you your email address. So again, I think the biggest thing is just like making sure that it's something interesting, it's something kind of entertaining, and that there is a lot of insight provided and a lot of education provided in that freebie.
Love it. So you kind of give them a bit of a tease to either, take this quiz and get like a free, diagnostic or recommendation, or, sign up to get this great tutorial or whatnot. And then all the consumer is doing is just sort of giving you the email address, and then they have access to this content. And now you have that email address, and then can include them on all of your future mailings, which will kind of bring them closer and closer through that funnel.
Yes, exactly.
Love it. Super. All right. This has been great. I hope people are learning a lot. I've got 2 quick tips here to sort of end our topic for today is, when should we send out emails? And, this obviously can vary a little bit based on the actual person that you are communicating with. So you want to think of, if your main clients or people that are on your mailing list are, older generation, are they more student generation, are they young professionals? It might change a little bit the times when they are going to be more active, but typically in a study that was done in 2021, emails sent at 8 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5 p.m. during the weekdays, Monday to Friday, seem to perform the best in terms of having the highest percentage of people opening them. So that's something to sort of consider. Again, you can kind of play with it and see for yourself what tends to work best and follow that pattern. And then lastly, but certainly not least, is you have to put a lot of focus into the actual subject line for your emails. Think of it as your headline, right? That is actually going to determine whether or not they choose to open that email and actually read everything you've written. You have to have a really, really catchy headline that is going to grab their attention. And sometimes you might want to do that by creating curiosity. Some examples are, you won't want to miss this, or I can't believe that this happened. 5 reasons that you need, XYZ. And it kind of creates this, ooh, I want to know what those 5 reasons are. Sometimes it might be, asking a question, right? That's really going to maybe trigger something. Do you struggle, maintaining your curly hair? A lot of people, might connect with that, be like, yeah, hells yes. And so therefore they're going to be more interested in clicking to open up that email. So make sure that you put enough focus and attention onto the subject line, because that has a huge impact on the percentage of people that will actually open and read your emails.
Totally. Actually, this is funny because this is a tip you actually gave me when I first started working for you and I started doing all of the email marketing. But you said for the title and the headline, act like you're trying to tell your friend something really exciting about whatever it is that the topic is. And I think about that every time I make the headline. So instead of it being like, well, I'll use our last blog, for example, like Instagram things or hacks that don't work for your Instagram. So instead of it just being something simple like that, it's like, you won't believe these 5 Instagram hacks that actually don't work. So you kind of think about how that would like entice, or how you would explain that to a friend to get them jazzed up to read it. And I think about that all the time when I'm doing the headline, just to, like make the verbiage a little bit more exciting, not so bland and like, these are the things you need to know. It's like, these are the things you absolutely cannot miss. So just kind of an extra little tip that you actually gave me.
Nice. Super. Yeah. Well, this has been fun. Hopefully we've been inspired some of you out there to think a little bit deeper about email and text message marketing, and have some sort of concrete ideas and tips on how to put it into practice. If you want to sign up for our email list so that you can, continually be, brought up to date on our latest blog posts, our latest podcast, and we have some fun freebies that we send out from time to time. Tons of tips and education. You can go to our website at www.salonsos.ca. On our homepage, you can sign up for that. Otherwise, you can hit us up on all of our social. It's coming up in a moment here in the outro. Thanks so much, Sarah, for all of your insights. And everyone, we look forward to catching you on our next episode.
Catch you next time.